Aloha, Rich Halverson here. This is ICS321. And today, in this video, I'd like to take you through Lab 6.5, which is the nested aggregates SQL, uh, that Sequela database example. So let me share my screen. All right. Okay, so this is the lab. And in this, we're going to look at the film and inventory tables of the Sequela database, and we're actually going to look at a shortened one. If you've installed this on anywhere, you can go look in there and see, and they're very large tables, and so you can understand why. In this assignment here, we're going to use a shortened version, and that you can see right here, just 10 films and just a few inventory here, 52 total, and the second 10 films. So I think the second field, the second column here would be the film ID, and this is probably the inventory number, and this is simply an index. All right, so in this problem, we're supposed to um, write a statement that selects the titles of the films with the fewest rows in the inventory table. Okay, so we want to identify which films have, I guess, the least inventory. And maybe this two means something else, but and you can imagine what that might be used for. If you want to keep better track of those titles or whatever. Maybe they're the ones you want to get rid of to make room for other inventory. Anyway, and we're supposed to use a subquery. And so we'll be using a subquery. And they say, they give you a hint here to use this query here, which also includes a subquery, to identify the count of the smallest count of inventory for film. Okay, so I tell you what, let's take a look at what these are. Let's break this down a little bit. I'm going to move this back over here, and I'm going to go look at the main. This is where we type in our stuff, and this is where we type in our select statement, and that select statement is going to refer to, this is going to be, you'll see how that works. So I'm going to I'm going to set this aside. Can I create another little, here's a nice new editor. You can use any editor you want. This is not about editors. It's about just having a temporary spot for this, because I'm going to break this down first. Let me copy this and put it over. Let me just put this over here, just so I can reference it later. Paste it here. Okay, so first of all, let's just run this thing and see what happens. Okay, so we run it, and we're selecting the minimum. We are looking into the select inventory, or looking into the inventory table, and we are counting up. We are grouping by film ID. In other words, and then within each group, we are counting up how many there are of that film ID. See, so here we have, this is the minimum film ID. Well, this doesn't, we still might not understand what this is. So why don't we just take this out? Let's take this line out. I'll put it back later, and take, I don't know, take this line out. Okay, so now we're just going to count the film IDs. We're going to find the counts of each of these film IDs, and we're going to see like how many there are. And if we run this, we see, oh, these are the counts, and that doesn't make much sense either. Just bear with me. So let's add You're supposed to be learning something here too. Let's add film ID here. Film ID. So we're going to have the film ID along with the count and see what this looks like. And we have, these are the film IDs here, 1 through 10. And this is how many there are of 1, and this is how many there are of 2, and this is how many there are of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so the smallest one is 3. Okay, and look, there's 2 of them. Okay, so anyway, we want the titles of the films for the smallest one. So we want the title for number 2, and we want the title for number 5, because they're the smallest. 3 is the smallest, and what are all the 3s? Well, there's whatever film ID number 2 is and whatever film ID number 5 is. Okay, so that's ultimately what we want as an output. So first of all, and what they gave us here was something that gives us the 3. So now really all we need to do is perhaps reconstruct this, something that produces something like this, but only identify those IDs that have a count of 3. So out of a table like this, we only want to select the ones where the count is 3, and that would be 2 and 5. So first of all, let's do this, and let's put this back, this whole thing back. Copy, paste. Okay, so this is to make sure we still so that's how we get the 3. See, that's how we get the 3. So now we want to select, let's see, we want to select, let's see, we want the film ID. Okay, so let's try select film ID from inventory, because I want to get those film. Remember before we saw those film IDs? I want a list of those film IDs. So grab the film IDs from inventory. We're still dealing with just inventory here. We haven't joined in the film table yet, and that's where we get the title. So film ID from inventory. From inventory. I gotta turn the camera. Inventory. And then from inventory, group by film ID. Okay, so we are basically reconstructing this kind of, okay? Except for instead of counting the film IDs, we just want the film IDs. And so this is going to give us all the film IDs. Now, we only want the film IDs where, okay, I'm going to do something different here. Before I looked at the solution, this is how I did it. I'm going to add a sum of 1, and this is the same as count. This is how I've always done count. And it's does the same thing, but it's just a habit of mine, and it works nicely because then you can put something else in here if you want to. So I want to do this, and then I want to group by film ID. So that's going to output those 2 things. Having num equaling this. So this is going to count up when we group by film ID. This is going to display out what the film ID is, plus it's going to display out what the number is. Okay, and so let's just get rid of this thing. And now let's run this and see what this is. I hope you're following along. And we get, this is the number, and this is 3 because we want the ones where the num, first one, where the num is 3, and we want the film IDs of those. And here they are, the 2 and the 5. Okay, so now we've got the film IDs there. And so we want to join these. I think we can just use a join. Join these with film. On film, I'm going to make aliases, and I'm going to call this alias I, and I'm going to call this alias F. On F of film ID equals I of film ID. Okay. So now we have the benefit of having the title. Oh, and now look, these film IDs that don't have a prefix, that don't have a that where we aren't identifying from which table the film ID is, it's going to be redundant. And we're going to get an error. So let's make them all. Let's inventory is a good one. And so which film ID? Let's do inventory again because that's the main one. And film ID. Okay, let's see what this does. Okay, let's just see if this works. It should work. It doesn't do it. Okay, so yeah, of course it works. Okay, but we also now have the title. So let's do comma from the film database, the title. Let's see what this is. Oh, look, these are the 2 titles. Okay, so now we only want these things. Okay, so we only want these things. There's a couple of ways that we can do this. But what I would do is I would just make this whole thing a table right here and select from that table just the title. Okay, so let's see if that works. I didn't try this, but select a title from this whole thing. I don't know. Let's see what happens here. I think it's going to say I got to name a table. Okay, so select this is a title from. Oh, I gotta do something. I gotta do something. As this is okay. I'm gonna do parentheses. Parentheses. Now I see if I get works. I think I got a name table or something. Oh, every derived table must have its own alias. All right, so that's line number 5. Oh, so I don't know. Do I just do all right? T2, T1. Okay, how's that? And you don't need the as, so I'm just gonna say that. See what this does. I think will this work? Ah, there we go. Ace, and you go now. Okay, so that's what my answer is. Now you can do some other things, like you can bring this down. Oh, first of all, let's see if this let's see if I get all the points here. But you can do some other things, and that is instead of going through this extra step here, you can just go directly to grabbing this out and skipping these things. We get the points. Oh yeah, we got all the points. That's great. Okay. So if you want to do it by not having this thing, Then you can do that then you don't need this either. But you do need, okay, so let's not do this num thing. Let's just have count. Okay, here we can use this, take advantage of the count statement, which we have down here. So basically let's do this. I want to put this here. This thing, copy. That is, put that in place of that. So we have, so this way we get rid of having that sum thing. And I guess we need to say what film ID it is. So let's put that in there so it doesn't get, so I don't get confused. Let's run this and see what this does. Okay, good. This gives us the 2 and gives us the film ID. So now we should just be able to skip this, just get rid of this. And we get this. And that looks like the right answer. And let's just submit this one for grading. And I don't see why. All right, so that qualifies as the correct answer also. All right, so I've just shown you how to do nested aggregates in the Sequila database problem, and hope this helps. Thanks for watching.